that much control over Daniel. But it's like we're blaming.
There was no jab, nothing changed. He deserved the knockout because he...
Johnny Nelson rips into Stan Dubois for wrecking Son's biggest night. Johnny Nelson didn't hold back. He tore into Stan Dubois, blaming him for sabotaging what should have been the biggest night of Daniel Dubois' career. According to Nelson, the pre-fight party wasn't just poor judgment, it was full-blown sabotage.
I just think to do something so stupid, and I mean stupid, if he thinks he knows better than every top trainer in the world, he thinks he knows better than every top fighter in the world, even though he's never got to that level, he's on another planet. And I think he made an expensive mistake at the cost of his son's.
He called Stan delusional, accusing him of living in a fantasy world where ego trumps preparation. Instead of focusing on the fight, Stan Dubois turned fight week into a spectacle, dragging street-level drama into elite-level boxing. Reckless, embarrassing, borderline sabotage. Nelson said, slamming
and saying, we ain't fighting unless all the crew come in. On fight night, he's an idiot. I don't know him personally, so I can't, but what I'm seeing is foolishness. How can you be so stupid? That's street mentality. This is world class.
Stan for throwing a party just days before facing Oleksandr Usyk, one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. Stan disrespected head trainer Don Charles, tried to play mastermind, and instead wrecked the camp's focus. Johnny was blunt. This wasn't bold. It was brain
mode. You're in fight mode. You're in, I could be walking to a certain death mode here. This is the hurt game. This is a dangerous, hard sport where people get seriously injured in there. And when you're fighting, you want to be in the mode of fight zone, fight mode. Let's go. I'm going to battle. I'm going to war. I'm a fucking warrior. I'm going in there to do some damage and potentially get
brainless. Carl Froch echoed the outrage. This is war, not a birthday bash. He snapped, blasting the Dubois camp for their amateur approach to a championship showdown. Froch made it clear. Real fighters walk in like warriors, not party guests. The fact that Stan thought a pre-fight celebration was appropriate.
Even by people just saying, good luck, mate. You've got this, mate. You're going to smash him, mate. It's just a bit more pressure, a bit more tension, a bit more expectancy from them that's added on to the fighter. The fighter's going into the ring, not only wanting to win the fight for himself, but also feels the added pressure from...
Shows how disconnected the team was from reality. Facing Usyk, a technician, a tactician, a killer in the ring, requires complete seriousness. What Dubois got was chaos. Dave Coldwell went deeper, saying the fake confidence surrounding Daniel only added pressure. The cheers, the back slaps, the delusion, it...
Prepare for an undisputed heavyweight championship. I can't see how his mind... Surely you want to give yourself the best possible chance. That said, he went out, he gave it his best, and he lost. He lost to the better man.
Didn't lift him. It broke him. Coldwell pointed out that Dubois walked into the ring carrying everyone else's expectations, not his own hunger. And against someone like Usyk, that's fatal. Adam Smith added his voice to the chorus of criticism. He didn't call it a simple defeat, he called it a collapse. Dubois was never in the fight because he was never truly prepared. And at the heart of that collapse was Stan Dubois. Smith warned there's no room for circus acts when facing a generational talent like Usyk. You need discipline, not distractions. Precision, not parties. Then came Don Charles, trying to downplay it all, calling the party a gathering, trying to reframe the disaster as a team bonding moment. But no matter how it's spun, the damage is done. It wasn't focus, it was fantasy. Comparing it to prep for the AJ...
Retract. Let's replace the word party with gathering. It was a gathering. Okay?
Okay.
Right. That the same gathering we used for the prep
fight was laughable. AJ isn't Usyk. That wasn't for the undisputed crown. This was a different level. And Stan didn't get it. The whole setup looked more like a meltdown than a game plan. The optics were brutal. Loud music, grinning guests, a father playing coach, it all screamed chaos. Stan, with Don's quiet approval, created an atmosphere unfit for a title challenge, and trying to justify it after the fact only exposed how unserious the camp really was. Adam Smith tried to remain diplomatic, but even he pointed out the obvious. Stan Dubois isn't a professional trainer. He's a father trying to run things like a family reunion, not a fight camp. The fact that he operates under two names is strange enough, but the insistence on using outdated methods for the most dangerous fight of Daniel's career.
Covering this sport for a long time, I haven't seen that sort of thing before. However, Don Charles has come out saying they had it last time. It worked with the AJ fight. Dave Dubois, Stan Dubois, goes by two names, doesn't he? Has a very, very special relationship with his son, and maybe he thinks he knows best. This is where the difference is with a trainer, Don Charles. Did Don want it? He said that's what we did before, and it worked with AJ. Maybe Daniel's the sort of guy they like to keep things the same way, but the picture's coming out. Yeah, look, it's
was beyond foolish. This wasn't a team ready for battle. It was a group clinging to ego and denial. And in the end, Daniel paid the price. Stan Dubois may love his son, but when it mattered most, he chose control over preparation, and it cost them everything. Duke McKenzie, Shane Mosley, and Dominic Ingle ripped Dubois camp over pre-fight chaos. Duke McKenzie didn't hold back. According to the former world champion, having 60 or 70 random people milling around Daniel Dubois before the biggest fight of his life was nothing short of a disaster. Whether it was a party, a gathering, or a poorly disguised PR stunt, McKenzie said the whole scene screamed one thing: bad planning. This isn't a nightclub. It's not an award show. McKenzie said, slamming the team for allowing such chaos. This is fight night. A contender preparing to face Oleksandr Usyk, one of the most cerebral and cold-blooded
around you, or people you don't even know, probably half of them, that's not a good look, if that is the case. I can't really understand what their method of thinking would have been, why they would have been having some kind of a celebration, party, quote unquote, whatever they were doing.
Fighters in boxing needs calm, clarity, and an iron focus. What Dubois got instead was noise, distractions, and a crowd that didn't belong. McKenzie questioned whether half the people in the room even understood the stakes. They weren't there to sharpen Daniel's mindset. They were there for the photos. The result? A circus atmosphere that dulled Dubois' edge before he even threw a punch. No serious contender lets that kind of chaos into their camp, McKenzie added, especially not against someone like Usyk. In his view, Stan Dubois turned a fight camp into a popularity contest, and his son paid the price. Shane Mosley took a more measured approach, but even his calm demeanor couldn't hide the hard truth. Mosley made it clear, Dubois was never truly ready for this version of Usyk. The pressure, the experience gap, the championship-level aura, it was all too much. Mosley, a veteran of high...
No, I think Daniel was in the right mindset. I mean, I just think that Usyk had too much for him, like too much mental, too much experience, too much. He had too much for him. There was nothing he could do about that. If it was a smaller Usyk like it was when he fought the first time, maybe Dubois had a good chance. But now that Usyk's bigger and stronger, he already has this. So it's a wrap.
Stakes battles, knows exactly what it feels like when you're mentally overwhelmed in the ring. Even if Dubois had been in peak physical condition, Mosley believes he still would have struggled. Usyk's psychological warfare is next level, he said. The quiet rooms, the intense eyes, the unshakable composure. Usyk plays a mental game as much as a physical one. Dubois wasn't just fighting Usyk, he was fighting his own unpreparedness, and in that kind of storm there's no mercy. Daniel didn't quit, Mosley added. He was simply broken by a man who lives on another level. Then came Dominic Ingle with a brutal, yet pointed, analogy. He likened the Dubois camp to ancient Viking chaos before war, suggesting Stan Dubois fostered an atmosphere more fit for a tavern than a title fight. This isn't the Viking age, Ingle said. It's elite modern boxing. One misstep in preparation can end careers. Instead of sharpening Daniel's edge, they dulled it with ego and distraction.
The party before battle with the Vikings, where he used to get pissed up and, dull the senses and then go and have a fight. But they win a proper day.
Usyk saw it, fans saw it, and most painfully, Daniel probably felt it too. You don't walk into war with party energy unless you're ready to be sacrificed, Ingle warned. That's exactly what happened. Stan's lack of tactical focus turned his son into cannon fodder. At this level, there's no room for feel-good moments or family-run chaos. There's only victory or destruction, and in Dubois' case, the damage was self-inflicted. Dominic Ingle, Caroline Dubois and the unraveling of Team Dubois, a painful reality check. Dominic Ingle didn't pull punches. His verdict? Daniel Dubois probably didn't believe he could win in the first place. And that, he said, explains the circus that surrounded him before the fight. The crowd, the noise, the distractions. What was the point of dragging in dozens of fake supporters and half-drunk well-wishers? Ingle asked. That wasn't confidence. That was camouflage. According to Ingle,
Stan should be ashamed for letting it happen.
Because realistically, I don't even think Daniel thought he was going to win that fight. So it's no good having all these people turning up, all these celebrities, you know, getting drunk and having a party on your behalf when it's you winning.
What unfolded wasn't arrogance. It was surrender wrapped in spectacle. When you're truly ready, you don't need applause. You don't crave external validation, he said, but when doubt creeps in, that's when the theater begins. Stan Dubois flooded Daniel's corner with people who were never going to bleed, sweat, or get hit by Usyk. They weren't there to help him win. They were there for the spotlight. Ingle was crystal clear. When the lights came on, Daniel was alone. The noise vanished. The back slaps meant nothing. And not a single one of those people could help him dig deep. This felt like a man walking into his fate, not a man fighting for his future, Ingle said. And Stan Dubois helped turn that ring into a stage for disaster. Then came Caroline Dubois, and her words cut deeper than any critique from pundits or trainers. As Daniel's own sister and a rising star in her own right, Caroline didn't sugarcoat a thing. She called the whole episode disgraceful, and she meant every syllable. Caroline has seen what real preparation looks like. She lives it. So watching her brother's career get swallowed...
There's no pretend, the man is supremely talented, but time and season...
Praise for Usyk isn't just truth, it's a reality check for the entire Dubois camp.
Usyk, I think Usyk is a phenomenal fighter, phenomenal athlete. To move up in weight, to become undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight, that speaks of his talent. You know, you can't...
Sport like life or death, Usyk moved up in weight, adapted, conquered, and dominated. Meanwhile, Daniel's team was busy throwing pre-fight gatherings and giving out wristbands. Caroline's words reflect the discipline and championship pedigree. It's not just a compliment to Usyk, it's a warning shot to anyone who dares think talent alone is enough. You can't fake greatness. You can't dance around preparation and expect to beat someone who treats this splurged of Stan Dubois orchestrating that reckless pre-fight party. It became clear Daniel was walking into the lion's den with his back already broken. Usyk came in like a silent killer, calm, focused. There were no excuses, no controversial calls, just a clear, cold masterclass by a fighter who lives for legacy versus one who was swimming in confusion. Caroline's brutal honesty sealed it. Even his own family had enough of the circus, and as Usyk's greatness, talent, and more importantly, he prepares like one. No distractions, no chaos, no circus acts before a war. Caroline praises what Daniel lacked, consistency.
Everything in the sport, and
Caroline flips the spotlight and gives Usyk the flowers he fully deserves, and in doing so, takes a subtle but powerful shot at her brother. She knows what greatness looks like. Usyk isn't just a champion, he's a once-in-a-generation most. This isn't just a loss, it's a crossroads. So now we ask you, is Dubois done at the top, or is there still a warrior buried beneath the wreckage? Let us know below. Continues to rise, Daniel must now face a new fight, the one within his own camp. Does he cut the cord from the chaos and rebuild? Or does he remain shackled to a system that failed him when it mattered? It wasn't just about being outboxed, it was about being sabotaged by those closest to you. Stan Dubois turned a high-level training camp into a PR stunt, and Don Charles, instead of enforcing control, folded into the madness and carrying the weight of world titles, while Daniel entered surrounded by noise, egos, and empty hype. Every voice in this script, from Johnny Nelson to Dominic Ingle, from Adam Smith to Caroline Dubois, pointed at one undeniable truth.
That you can't make that up.
The entire Dubois-Usyk saga wasn't just a boxing defeat, it was a public unraveling of everything wrong behind the scenes. From the moment footage of admiration, but they also reflect shame. She knows Daniel wasn't robbed or outmuscled. He was outworked, outclassed, and outprepared by a fighter who does everything by the book. Her